Good Wednesday morning. Check the streams, check the streams. Don't cross the streams, but check the streams. We're live, we're live. We are live. Good morning. Welcome to Dev Jobs Daily. My name is Keith, and I am your week daily. That's right. Week daily hang to talk about what's going on in the tech job market and the tech job news. And we are going to be doing both those things today. Our focus on this stream is really just to be a place for you to come and hang out while you're getting out job applications. If you have been one of the many people that have been laid off recently, or within the last 6 months, or you have know somebody who has, please share this stream. The toughest part about looking for a job is staying focused and consistent, and I just mean to be your appointment. Get up in the morning, grab a caffeinated beverage, of which I am completely out. I need a store run today because I am out of my morning drink. So that's our focus. I've been a professional developer for over 30 years, and currently my day job is running a coding school. I help people learn how to code, both new programmers and upskillers. People who are working in the industry, already have a job, recently laid off, looking to expand their skill set to make themselves more valuable and marketable to employers. And I broadcast out of Austin, Texas. So I broadcast every morning from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Sometimes we go over if the conversation is good. Feel free to jump in and add some comments in the chat, and I'm happy to address that, answer any questions you might have about the job market, about working in tech. I've had a long and varied career, and I have many opinions about all of those things. So let's get into it. Every morning I get up, including the weekends, and I check the job postings. I have focused for almost 3 years at checking the job postings for entry-level JavaScript developers, because that's who our primary audience was before we expanded into upskillers. But it's a good indicator, thumbnail, to view the trends of what's going on in the web. JavaScript is the language of the web. It is not the only it's not the only language that web developers use or that programmers use. But by and large, the majority of programming jobs are web jobs, and JavaScript is included really in all of those jobs. So it is a good placeholder for what's going on in the industry. I check those job postings on Indeed. I filter for the last 24 hours and log them. And the end result is some graphs and charts we're going to look at today. The first one is what's going on in the last week. We see a slight uptrend. That's because we've been following a downtrend based on all this tariff stuff that's been going on in political and world news and what effects it might have on business. So while we always want to see an uptrend on that blue line there, it's not like a rocket ship. It's just kind of the normal fluctuations. If we look at the last 6 months, we can see also a slight uptick there. But if we look at the last 2 months, it's been roughly flat. We're kind of right at that midpoint of where it's been for the last 2 months. So we're not setting the record on fire, but we just came out of you know, the down portion of that cycle. If we look at the last year, it's a slight downtrend. Most importantly, we'll see that a year ago there were, I don't know, 10, 15% more job postings than there are now. Not the best news. We want to be breaking records, not stuck in this kind of doldrums of just a little up and down, but making no great leaps or progress. Once things, I say with my fingers crossed, once things calm down with the tariffs, if the current administration starts delivering on some of the other promises that businesses were interested in, making it easy for mergers and acquisitions, getting tax cuts, getting lower regulation, all those things that business was excited about when the new administration was elected. If they move past all the bad stories about deportations of non-criminals, if we get past that stuff, we expect, and if we see some rate cuts, which we'll take a look at in the news today, things should look better. I had high hopes going into the end of the year last year with the signals that were coming post-election out of business, but it has not materialized in the way that we thought it would. So then the other thing I do is look at LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day, and I am always checking out the news feed that's on LinkedIn. I have many sources of news. Most of them come to my email inbox. I follow a number of news aggregators and and web and mail lists that send news to my inbox, but I'm also on LinkedIn every day, and it's a good source of what goes on in tech news and the larger business. So I'm going to highlight a few stories as we get into it. NVIDIA had their big conference of the year, and Jensen Huang, the CEO, came out and showed off their new chips and some new partnerships that they had that made some other news. In general, nothing huge surprise there. Everything's kind of incremental at this point. There's not been a big breakthrough in a while in the chip world, but but these incremental advances have powered the AI revolution. BYD, the big Chinese automaker, getting bigger all the time. Really taking on Tesla, in part because they're growing like crazy, and in part because Tesla is having a rough patch, we will say. Market valuation of Tesla has plummeted over $700 billion since its December peak. Its further pressure is mounting as Chinese rival BYD unveils its latest EV tech. It's a name, if you don't pay too attention to the tech news or to the business news, you might not recognize BYD in the United States, but it is a huge brand in China and quickly spreading across Europe. We don't find them here because they have been sort of priced out of the market because the automakers have sort of put big roadblocks. The American automakers have put roadblocks up so they can't get their Chinese things in here. and partly because they don't really meet the safety standards. We have high safety standards for vehicles, which makes it more expensive. They don't have as high safety standards in China, so they started and grew their business there, and now as they roll out to Europe and other places around the globe, again with not as stringent safety standards, they're able to grow and really challenge Tesla, even without the American market, which is a huge car market, of course. But yesterday they announced a new rapid charging system that claims to be the twice as fast as Tesla superchargers. But that's not the number I was reading yesterday. The number I was reading yesterday is you could get 500 kilometers, nearly 500 kilometers of a charge in 5 minutes. I haven't been following. I don't own an EV. I don't own a Tesla. But I think it takes more than 10 minutes to do a 500 kilometer charge for a Tesla. So that seems more than twice as fast. But I don't know. Maybe it's a supercharger. Maybe you can charge in 10 minutes. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's good. I have a couple of friends who own Teslas. I should reach out to them and ask them. Shares of BYD soared to a record high on the news, while the company is saying it will build over 4,000 ultra-fast charging units across China. BYD sold 167 million cars in 2024, narrowly trailing Tesla's 1.7 million. Now that we mentioned it, the BYD vehicles tend to be a little smaller than American cars. So that number might be a little tricky math, in the sense that if they weigh less, they just don't need as much juice to go the same distance. So maybe the batteries are smaller too. So maybe it does. 5 minutes will get you. 5 minutes will get you 500K or 500 kilometers of charge. So I bet you it's probably not apples to apples. It's probably a different kind of comparison, now that I think about it. But still, again, 5 minutes, that's a little more than it takes to gas up your car. Not much more. Google's $32 billion cloud bet. We started to see stories about that yesterday with their acquisition of Wiz. So they announced it yesterday, adding the security company to their cloud computing platform. Now we're starting to get stories about kind of what that means. Google Cloud lags far behind AWS. LinkedIn parent Microsoft Azure in the cloud market share. And the Wiz acquisition should provide some momentum, as TechCrunch notes Google's more modest position in the cloud service, especially compared to its internet search and advertising dominance, could be a benefit as the deal faces potential regulatory scrutiny. Even with this is one of the things that was promised by the new administration. There would be less scrutiny from regulatory agencies about mergers and acquisitions. And so this will be a first big test. We'll see. NVIDIA did announce that they've made a new partnership yesterday with, what's the name of the company? Yum Brands, who own Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. So rolling out to 500 restaurants later this year is going to be an NVIDIA powered AI assisted ordering and management system. So get used to talking to AI in those drive-thrus. I've already talked to one of them last month. Where was I? I don't remember where I was, but it was clearly a AI voice that started the conversation, and then it was disengaged. So I don't know if they were just testing it. But we're gonna, my son got his first job last year at 17. And it's working for a fast food company, a chicken shop, and with the speed at which these humanoid robots are coming, those are clearly going to be the second big place to see those humanoid robots. The warehouse floor is going to be the first place. They're already being used on the assembly line in car vehicles and in some warehouses. But that's going to supercharge, because those are controlled environments where not a lot, you really can understand the whole layout of the space. You can understand the ability to what the number of edge cases in an environment like that are relatively small, right? All of the robots can work together so they don't run into each other. They can map out the space so they don't run into the walls. They can put barcodes on everything. So even, just look, if it's just boxes and stuff, they can understand what's in that content. And they can work 24/7. Not 24/7 because they got charged batteries, but they have to. But they can work something like 18 hours a day with battery charges. These new humanoid robots, and fast food restaurants going to be the same thing. It's a very limited number of things that you do. You can generally train an employee within a very short amount of time, a human employee. So with robots, all you have to do is train the AI one time, and then multiply it 10,000 times, 100,000 times, and all of your restaurants now are being run by humanoid robots. So I would not be surprised if by the time my son, who's a senior in high school, graduates from college, that we won't, we'll be seeing a majority, especially at these big chains, because they have the money to invest and they have the big risk, right? One of the lessons that these fast food company restaurants learned during the pandemic was they need people. If they don't have people, they don't have business. But they're looking for an out. If another pandemic comes, if another shutdown happens, and we can still run a drive-through, that's going to make people's lives considerably different. If during the pandemic I could at a minimum get in my car and drive to a drive-through and have a robot serve me a bunch of food, I wouldn't felt nearly as constrained, and life would continue to have some sense of normalcy. So that is on their radar. They are looking to make that happen. Okay, the Fed. The Fed announcement's going to come out today. They're expected to forecast 2 interest rate cuts this year. Going into the fall of last year, the assumption was they were going to have 4 rate cuts in 2025. But they started to back off of that in the fall. And it looks like they're still not ready to cut those rates. The central bank is almost universally seen as standing pat on rates during that same meeting. Not only is inflation still above its 2% annual target, but the Fed must take into account rising anticipation among consumers for faster price growth in the face of tariff clashes. Some of these tariffs have already had some effect. Most of them, that is going to be a trailing indicator. It's going to take a while for products coming through, manufacturing now, shipping now, that will hit those tariffs before those prices are passed on. So, we don't know how people are going to react and which products are going to be a lot of speculation about what prices are going to go up and how much, but we don't really know until, the administration really kind of figures out really what it's doing. What's going on in the tech news? I'm doing 9 minutes. Okay. Assassin's Creed Shadows come out. Saw a video about the controversy there. Wasn't really tracking that. I played the first Assassin's Creed game, but nothing since then. It's not really the kind of games I play. Gemini app now available without Google account sign in. Apple prioritizing a foldable display to boost battery life, but evidently it's pricey. Are you sitting down? Here's what the foldable iPhone could cost you. As if the iPhone wasn't expensive enough. We'll add a premium because it's foldable. But I might actually see a foldable screen if that's the case, because so many people have iPhones. Analog, I didn't even know this was a thing. N64 is analog. It's a 4K retro console. It's been delayed again. Delayed to July. Steeper discounts hit the new M3 iPad Air. Amazon slashes prices of Pixel 9. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this next version of the iPhone having no ports whatsoever, so everything was going to be wireless charging. Are we ready for that? Are we ready? Like, I don't have an iPhone, but I don't have a wireless charger in my house. You'd have to have wireless chargers everywhere. And you have to take them with you. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Seems like the future, but the future is not here yet. I guess it's got to start somewhere. Apple tends to be the leader in this stuff. Still trying to figure out when that Switch 2 release date is. Kagi. A lot of gaming stuff in the tech news. What else we got? Let's get the internet. Internet news. Elon Musk Starlink internet service installed in the White House. Elon Musk expanding Starlink footprint across the government is dangerous, says MSNBC. I mean, just another. I mean, they should always have a backup, of course. Just another technology. They shouldn't just go with that, because clearly any kind of satellite-based ones are going to have some weather issues and that kind of thing. But yeah, having a variety of internet connections probably not a bad idea. Internet shutdowns at record high in Africa as access is weaponized. Yeah. So, this is one of those concerns that people voice about Starlink, is once we get Starlink up there, that gives one company the ability to turn off the internet for a large group of people. Watch how SpaceX makes 15,000 Starlink satellite internet kits a day. 15,000. broadband access. State-funded broadband access is coming to South LA. Here's why. There's a lot of talk. I've been around in the internet since '95. I was working as a professional developer for a couple of years before. Before that, I think I started in '92, '93, working on CD-ROM projects. And there was a lot of talk at the time about cities providing free Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, but internet, and as a way to differentiate themselves and also, provide a way to modernize medium and small-sized towns. And the cable companies, the internet companies, all lobbied Washington and passed a bill to make that illegal. How dare they give away a free service that we want to charge for? This is a big fight. But there were some cities who'd been grandfathered in. There were some regions that made a difference there, that were able to sort of break through there. But very few could have gone a completely different way. We could have had state-funded, city-funded AI, and you wouldn't have that $100 bill a month that you're paying for broadband now. And it would have just been a service. How quickly would the internet have grown if that were the case? How much quickly? Interesting. Okay, we're getting down to it. So we're going to wrap it up for today. We will be back tomorrow in 23 hours and 30 minutes with the same routine. We're going to get up early in the morning. We're going to get a little caffeinated beverage in ourselves, and we're going to get out those job postings. And I'm going to be here to hang out with you. My name is Keith. I'm a professional developer. I work managing a coding school. I help other developers get into the industry, or ones who are working in the industry learn more skills to make themselves marketable to their employers and to other potential employers. And so that is my focus. My goal here is just to be a daily hang while you get those job applications out. If you've been recently laid off or know somebody who has, please share this stream with them. If you have not connected with me on LinkedIn, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Always looking to grow my network of people working in tech. And that will be it for today and for now. We will see you Thursday, hopefully with some better news. But either way, we're just going to keep hustling. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stay on top of it until we get that job, until we get that better job we're focused on right now. So